And a big story in Simsbury where the town could become smoke-free in public places. And tonight, there will be a public hearing about a proposed ordinance which would ban tobacco, cannabis, as well as vaping.
Yeah, they want to talk about it. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Olivia Schuler joins us now to explain where exactly these bans would take place. Olivia, where are we talking?
Wendell, good morning. Well, the ordinance would put a ban on certain types of smoking in public areas. So that includes parks, playgrounds, and government offices. Now, Simsbury already has a ban on recreational marijuana sales. Town officials wanted to ban those sales to ensure public marijuana smoking would be kept at bay in public places. Now, the new proposed ordinance eliminates smoking tobacco, cannabis, and vaping in public completely. Penalties would start with a $100 fine. Tonight, the board asked for two versions of the drafted ordinance. One draft provides an exemption for the Simsbury Farms golf course, and the other draft does not provide this exemption. Town Council member Eric Willman has previously told Channel 3 there's a chance for an exemption on the golf course because golf is a distant game and golfers, they like to smoke while playing. Now, the meeting is here at Town Hall at 6 o'clock later tonight. We're live this morning in Simsbury. Olivia Schuler, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.